Welcome back in. McElroy and Cubelic in the morning, hour number 2, Friday, February the 6th, right here on Jocks, 8 a.m. Appreciate you guys tuning in. 800-239-9569. You want to get in talking fandom, which there's a part of that I want to roll into Alabama football here in just a moment as well, as Greg is in the Alabama football facility, going to be speaking to the Crimson Tide football team later today. We talked about Brady saying that he's not necessarily rooting for the Patriots in this Super Bowl. Some people are upset about that. We've talked about how that affects us with our jobs in college football. You've given us some of your thoughts on it as well. A lot of things yet that we still need to discuss. Week 0 gaining traction as the start date for all of college football, good or bad? We'll get your thoughts on that one as well. Before we continue and we get your thoughts on a lot of other things, G-Mac, tell our listeners about Crocker Moving Services.
Well, they're a local company owned by an Iraq War veteran, Eric Crocker. Crocker believes in hiring movers you can trust to complete full background checks and run drug tests on every single employee. These are good guys. And you can trust them in your home. Whether your whole home packed up and moved, your company headquarters moved across the country, or you just want them to come rearrange your living room, these guys got you covered. They also do deliveries for furniture that you purchase need to get to your home. So call or visit them online today for a free quote. The website's CrockerMovingServices.com. That's CrockerMovingServices.com. Support your veterans by choosing Crocker Moving Service for your next move.
All right, so week 0, Greg is gaining. You know what? Before we get to that, let's go to Tyson and Coleman before we talk week 0. He wants to finish up on the Brady conversation. Tyson, you're on the Higginbotham hotline. Welcome in.
Morning, guys. Hey,
Morning.
I was just hoping y'all could maybe discuss how analysts and play-by-play guys are valued. I guess my question is why is, say, Brady worth $37 million and Chris Collinsworth is worth what he's worth? Because I've never been sitting somewhere and said, oh, God, I got to get home because the game that Tony Romo is doing. I mean, do the networks look at it and say these guys are gaining us that many more viewers? Because, I mean, it's the NFL, but I feel like no matter who the play-by-play guys are or the color guys are, they're going to have close to the same viewership, correct? So I was just curious as how they value these color guys and play-by-play guys.
That's an interesting thought, G-Mac. I feel like Greg may have a better feel of this. I believe that you, the caller, and a lot of us who are football diehards are not necessarily the target audience for the type of decision that you are referencing. Now, there's still a goal of trying to put the best educated or most entertaining analyst or play-by-play guy in that seat to call those games. Some people who make those decisions value different aspects of that more. You love a Gus Johnson, you like a guy that's a little more entertaining. Some people like a more technical play-by-play guy. That can be a different network, a different boss, a different time, a different sport, doesn't matter. But I do think, Greg, from an analyst perspective, there are different avenues that people take. Some people want the smartest. Some people want the most well-spoken. Some people want the biggest name. And when that biggest name is put in that seat, I believe, you give your opinion after I do, it's not targeting us. It's targeting the people who might not have watched that game or have the option to watch multiple games, and they believe that the experience or the name recognition that person brings may sway a few more people to their broadcast. It may make their broadcast feel bigger, more important, because that person is on it. That's the only way I know to make any sense of it, because we've seen that person fail miserably. Big name analyst being put in that seat. We've seen that person be incredible. And also a lot of times, and no different with Brady, it's a big risk. It can be a very calculated risk, but the guys who haven't done it, to be able to just throw them in there, you don't know how it's going to go. But Fox gave him a ton of money before they had a real good idea of what it was going to be like. So I think there are a lot of factors involved, G-Mac, and probably depends on the individual making that decision, the network that they're at, the game that it is, the sport that it is. All that kind of comes into play, in my opinion.
Well, there's a lot of ways to look at this, and I think it's a great question, and it's a fascinating one that we're all kind of trying to find the answers to. A couple things that factored into why Brady makes what he makes. Troy Aikman and Joe Buck left Fox to become the lead analyst on Monday Night Football, and that left a pretty big void. And there was, I'm sure, frustration on the face of the NFL saying, hang on a second, how do you let your top guys walk? They've been calling games together for 20 years on your network. So you better make it right. You know what I mean? Like, you better find someone that's bigger, because those guys are pretty dang good at their job, probably the gold standard when it comes to the NFL broadcast and how it sounds and how it's supposed to sound, and the Super Bowl, things they've done in the past together. I think they've called 6 or 7 Super Bowls. I mean, it's been a lot. So Roger Murdoch and company said, all right, well, how's Tom Brady? And the NFL's like, you know what? I think we'll be good with Tom Brady. So and then you got to get Tom Brady to do it. And what's his time worth? Let's be real. Tom Brady's net worth is significantly different than that of Chris Collinsworth. And I think Chris Collinsworth is outstanding and really calls a nice game. But to get Tom to do it is going to cost more than what it's going to cost to get Chris Collinsworth. And the reason why analysts make as much money as they do, and people look at this and it's mind-blowing, and I understand that, I guess, to an extent. But if you think about what Tom Brady makes on a game-to-game basis, so let's say he calls 20 games a year, he makes about $1.7 million a game, thereabouts. Simple math, rudimentary math. I'm not sure exactly where it lands, but somewhere in that vicinity. Let's just say, Romo makes $18 million a year. He's however much that is, $1 million a game, whatever the number is. Okay, that game to that network, just to buy that game and to have the rights to that game, is well into the hundreds of millions of dollars. Like, well into it. Not even close. If you average out the amount of games that Fox gets, CBS gets, Monday Night Football, Thursday night, Amazon Prime, whatever those games cost, the salary for the announcer is a drop in the bucket. It is a rounding error because of how expensive these rights have gotten. The SEC actually put out their distribution numbers yesterday for all these schools, and every school got somewhere in the vicinity of $72 million or so. The SEC made over $1 billion last year. Over $1 billion last year. And where did a lot of that money come from? They came from the SEC television package with ESPN, and in addition to the college football playoff. So when you look at the college football playoff, for example, I don't know exactly what ESPN pays per game, but it's well over $100 million a game. Well over. It's a lot. A lot. So what the analyst and, frankly, the play-by-play guy are in that scenario is you're an insurance policy. You might not go to a game because Tom Brady is calling it, but you are more likely to stay on a game if you recognize the voice and value what the voice is telling you. That is proven to be true. That's why the best analysts and the best play-by-play guys, they're at their best in a blowout. If you can keep the number where it's at, you have done an exceptionally good job. If you don't see some massive drop-off when the game gets sideways, you are killing it. That's like the greatest thing that you can do as a broadcaster. Every broadcaster is rooting for a close game. That's it. A close game. Give me a close game. Give me one in the fourth quarter. Give me one that's coming down to the wire. But the ones that really make their weight worth gold are the ones that can keep viewership at a certain level when the game gets off the rails. The other thing that you can serve as, and this is a difficult thing to wrap your head around, we're a tremendous insurance policy. Like you said, these games are worth hundreds of millions of dollars. Each game, hundreds of millions of dollars. In the event in which you have a catastrophic moment in a game, a severe injury, the best case being what transpired with Damar Hamlin a couple years ago. Like, just a horrendously scary moment in television, in football, in all these things where a guy is having to receive CPR on the field. Like, there's real fear about what's going on. And the way Joe Buck and Troy Aikman covered that moment was absolutely incredible. Absolutely textbook incredible how it was done. Absolutely unbelievable. So that is another thing. So if something terrible happens and you need your analyst and play-by-play guy to kind of tap dance around and try to make sense of it and help the viewer be at peace and tell the story and try to help us understand what's going on, that's enormous as well. And then the last thing I'll say on this too, with the analysts and the importance and all these things, there is so much more going on in a game. And I tell my friends this, like I had a meeting with a buddy of mine not that long ago. What you have to do as an analyst in preparing for a game, Cole, you've done it as well. You're having camera meetings 4 hours before kick. You're going and you're talking to the camera guys. You're telling them what are the ISOs. You help talk with your director about what your ISO plan is. Hey, we want to make sure that on third down, this pass rusher has a camera on him against this right tackle, because that might be very well where the game is won and lost. And these are all done throughout the week. So you will watch a game and you'll just think that every single replay, there's not enough cameras to have a camera on every guy on the field. We are playing the odds every time we go into a game, and the best analyst will be able to appropriately direct the director to where they need to be. Hey, this matchup between Elijah Surratt and the young corner at Oregon, that was the last game I did, so it's front of mind. On third down, if he's in the slot, we need to make sure we have a camera on him, because that's probably where it's going. And that's how you can cover the game, and you get these replay looks, and you just assume, no, the reason why the camera's there is because the analyst on Wednesday told the camera to be there. And there's a lot more going on than I think people realize. And Cole, you can speak to that as well. I mean, I think people just think we just show up and do the game. There's a lot more that goes into making sure the game is covered appropriately, and the best analysts can do that.
Yeah, there's just a lot that goes into it, a lot of decisions that have to be made, and then there are a lot of right turns, left turns, detours that need to be taken that cannot even pretend to be scripted or discussed prior to them taking place on the air, live television, as you stated. So I think what you said, though, about the money that he commands, what it would take to get him to do it, is probably the part that we don't normally consider, in that, hey, I don't need this. I don't have to do this. Like, some of us have to do this. We want to do it. We love it, but, like, we have to pay our bills. Like, Tom doesn't have to work another day the rest of his life if he doesn't want to. So very different for him to maybe have to be lured into doing something, as opposed to we're begging for more opportunities on a very regular basis. So his situation makes what he makes very different also. Not a lot of people are trying to move into broadcasting where he is in life. So that becomes very different at the same time. So, but it's a cool discussion. It really is, because just kind of how he got where he is, why he is where he is, and then why he can maybe command some of the things that he does. It's wild. But it was also interesting what the caller brought up about his love for football. And it's one of the things that I think took all of us in broadcasting a long time to sort of learn and get used to. I've seen multiple instances of him, and I haven't even watched a ton of his games, where you can tell when it clicks with him, he instantly becomes different on camera. Like, when he gets his chance to really break something down or really talk about something that's personal for him, and I don't think he realizes this yet, like, his demeanor changes. I see it, and it's in a good way, because you can tell emotionally this is something he wants to talk about. He wants to share. He wants to discuss. He wants to educate people on, as opposed to just saying why a play went off right tackle for 3 yards. And it's cool to see that, because it means it's special to him. It means it's personal to him, and he gets to share his experience. But not being different when discussing it is something that he'll morph into and continue to sort of just keep the same demeanor, keep the same attitude with. But I do think that there is that part of him that he loves talking about certain aspects of it, because he does know it at a different level than a lot of other people do.
100%. And I think they've done a great job, and his partner, Kevin Burkhardt, has done a great job too. I think they clearly looked after year one. They're like, all right, Tom, what is your best attribute as a player? Like, help us play the game. Like, and Kevin set him up beautifully. Like, they've done a really nice job of creating great chemistry. I think he's come such a far way from year one to year two. I think Tom's really gotten good. And listening to how Kevin sets him up in ways that, like, all right, hang on. It's a critical 3rd and 7 here. What do you take us through it? Like so prior to the play, goes, all right, well, it's 3rd and 7. I know they're probably going to be a man team. That's what they've been. They're about 68% man. So I'm thinking man first. I do have a changeup off that. But if I have man, I'm thinking running back here against this will linebacker on a free release. Like, things like that. Hey, they're a heavy pressure team in the high red zone. Like, I'm thinking pressure. I got to be ready for pressure here. Like, I think that they've done a really good job of just, hey, Tom, what are you thinking? Like, tell me what you're thinking prior to the play, because you're one of the best ever, if not the best ever, when it comes to pre-snap diagnosis and adjustment post-snap. He's probably the best ever. And that's what I think they've done such a great job with. I love watching him call games. I love it. I think there's areas where I'm sure maybe a little more polish and a little more comfort level, and that takes time, dude. I don't feel like I started getting good at calling games till like year 9. I feel like it's finally starting to the lights coming on for me. So like it'll take some time to kind of find your voice and find where you're at, but it's a craft. That's what it is. It's a craft, and he right now is playing the game from the broadcast booth, which I think is very, very fun from my vantage point as someone that just loves the nuance of what goes through the quarterback's brain. Like I won not with physical ability. I won by being smart. So like I love hearing a guy that not just did it as a physical ability, but was like next level smart when it came to pre and post snap adjustments. It's just, he's amazing. I think it's really fun to listen to him.
Absolutely. All right, a lot more on that situation. There's another situation as it pertains to former players that I wanted to get to. We need to talk about that. We'll do it on the other side. First, Greg, tell our listeners about Bromberg's.
Well, Bromberg's has been my go-to for a very long time. It's right down the road from us. We absolutely love the experience every time we walk in the door. And if you are celebrating an engagement over the holiday season, 1, congratulations. 2, this is where the fun begins. Wedding planning. Catch the thrill. Well, it's a stressful time. It's hard to plan a wedding. There's a lot on your plate. You can take one thing off your plate by just letting the pros at Bromberg's handle your wedding registry. You can register online, but nothing really compares to working one-on-one with those experienced bridal consultants that they have on staff. They'll help you select everything you need. They have a checklist. You got china, crystal, silverware, casual pieces. And as Bromberg's is about to celebrate their 190th year in business, start this new chapter with the experts who know registries best. Plus, enjoy 20% off wedding bands and special pricing on wedding party gifts. So register online at brombergsbride.com or visit Bromberg's in Mountain Brook or at the Summit.
All right, we'll look at another former player who is saying certain things about his team. Some people love it, some people hate it. Next on Jocks. All right, welcome back in. McElroy and Cubelic in the morning. Appreciate you guys tuning in. 800-239-9569. Ramon Luster tweeting into the show at Mac and Cube. Greg's insight on keeping an audience dialed in during a blowout was awesome. He's sharing some valuable info that most of us never consider. The entire segment was an excellent breakdown by Greg. WDE.
Yes.
Thanks for being here, Greg.
It is. I think a lot of people think our job is like really easy and really fun, but there's really so much more going on. That's what, like, I want everybody so badly. I wish that they would do a show on the truck and really the lead up to the game, the preparation for a game, and just so you can see kind of behind the scenes how insane it is. It's a 5-alarm fire for 3.5 hours. It is so much fun. I mean, you know it. Like, is it not just the most fun? It's insane. I think a lot of people would be like, how do you do this? Like, it's crazy. The replay angles, the camera shots, if you have only 8 cameras, how do you make it look like you have 25? If you have 25, how do you make sure you don't miss something small? Like, it's just, there's a lot going on, man. It's pretty cool.
I know it's not the same audience. I would love to see that reality show for a UFL game.
Similar.
It is that on steroids.
It's
because
insane.
You have coaches mic'd up, players mic'd up, ability to listen into play calls, ability to listen into players receiving play calls and then sharing information with their teammates. Then you have the ability to go talk to them on the side. I mean, it's just complete insanity. Like, you want to talk about just complete mental and emotional exhaustion at the end of the game? Go put a camera in a truck on somebody that's running one of those games. It never stops. And your options, like you said, of camera angles, different things like that, now multiply times 10 of what you can take, could take, want to take, try to take, have audio of, have video of. It's just like, it's never ending. It's literally never ending. And it is in a lot of instances.
The audio guy is hearing it all. So you have an audio engineer in the truck that is hearing all these different guys, and he's got to decide, like, and push. All right, this sounds good. Hey, push this. Like, hey, bring the volume up on. Turn the mic on for the linebacker. All right, turn him down. Turn the OC mic up. Like, there's so much more. And then you think, like, these graphics that just appear on the screen, like they just appear out of thin air. No, like, there's people in the back that are drawing these graphics, writing these graphics, typing them up, and then they trigger them with like some 8-letter code to put them on the screen. Where do they go on the screen? Can they go bottom left? Did they go top right? Did they go full screen? Did they go half screen? Did they go tombstone? Like, it's like there's so much more going on that people don't realize.
Yeah, it's a lot. I want to get your thoughts on this before you run. And you're actually in the Alabama facility, so this becomes even more complicated. But recently on the Bama Standard podcast, Reggie Ragland shared a back and forth with Nakai Hill-Green, Alabama linebacker. And some of the things Reggie said, Alabama fans love. Some things they're concerned about. Some things some people didn't like. I'll just say this before we have this conversation. I've known Reggie since he was a teenager in Huntsville, Bob Jones High School. First off, the guy's not going to hold back. He's not going to mince his words. He is who he is. That's what makes him great. And he's going to give you his opinion, and that's going to be what it is. Good person, great dude. I'm a fan of his, always have been. But he talked about the physicality or lack thereof that he saw at certain times from Alabama's defense, G-Mac, and basically said, what I saw at times didn't feel like y'all were physical enough during the game. The Indiana game, I felt like, what the hell's going on? He said, you go and work hard, and then you miss plays. You can be physical out there when you miss your assignment or you're not in the right place, and I didn't see that. He was honest in his assessment. There are parts of that I don't think anybody could argue with. Some people don't like the honesty. Once again, former player coming out, and people view that as calling somebody out or calling a group out. Somebody who's done it, lived it, knows it, sees it, and he's giving you his opinion on how it appeared to be to him. Let's say that part of what he's saying, some of what he's saying, even all of what he's saying is accurate. How does that get repaired inside of where you are right now? How does that change? Because people are going to say, Greg, they want it back to when he played and what it was when he played. The problem with part of that is football has changed a little bit, and you can't just be that all the time. The rules don't allow it to a certain extent.
Right.
Training your guys to be that is not realistic to an extent anymore because you're just not going to have any bodies left to go out there and perform from a practice perspective. What do you make of some of the commentary around what Reggie Ragland, one of the all-time greats, saw last year from Alabama's defense?
Yeah, I mean, I understand his thoughts. I get it. I like Reggie. I've always had a good relationship with Reggie. I think some of his criticism, especially as it pertained to the Indiana game, was fair. I also think when you look at what that team had to go through last year, and whether it's starting week one with Florida State, the gauntlet they ran, the comeback against Oklahoma at the end, being beat up in the SEC title game, just not having your best stuff, and playing against a good physical Georgia football team. Like, I think they were just out of gas, man. Like, I think they were just dead. I mean, I really believe that the emotional toll and the weight of the season kind of collapsed upon them there in the second half of that football game. And frankly, it probably started with the 4th and 1 getting stopped there, the fumble that turned into a touchdown right before half. Like, I think it was just a broken will. But here's the thing, like, I've seen some of the best Alabama teams on planet Earth that also had their will broken in a game. It happens. Like, it's people don't want to remember the 2018 national championship against Clemson. I mean, no one wants to remember that. There were defensive backs like taking dives in the game. It was like, what are we doing? I mean, it was brutal. So, and that's with a team that was insane from a talent standpoint, from a leadership standpoint. I mean, Minka Fitzpatrick was on that team. I mean, Deshaun Hand was on that team. I mean, some great players. Or no, Minka Fitzpatrick was gone off that team, but like he was there the year before or whatnot. But you had some great players. I mean, Raekwon Davis and Isaiah Buggs and Damian Harris and Devontae Smith and Jonah Williams. I mean, you had some great players on that team, and they just got broken there in that game. It happens. So I think it's way too easy to just point to the shortcomings. I think there's areas for everyone to improve, but this whole like the standard is the standard thing to me is a bit misleading. Like, the standard is just do your best, like be the best version of you, and not worry so much about 2016 or 15 or 12 or 11 or 9 or any of the teams that went on and won championships before you. Like, just be you. And I think there's things that can absolutely get figured out. I think there's things that can be done better. I think the O-line can be better. I think there's areas sometimes last year where maybe the linebackers were occasionally a step slow. That came to the forefront against Florida State. The secondary, maybe not the best angles. Like, there's things to clean up for sure. But like, I think last year's team overachieved, if you want my opinion. Like, I know people don't look at it that way. I think that team had their back against the wall from week 2 on and had a heck of a year under the circumstances. So I still view last year's team as a team that I'm real proud of for getting as far as they did. I hate the way it ended, but I will still view that last year's team as a real positive step in year 2 under Coach DeBoer.
What can they do to reverse that this year? How easy will it be to make that different? Just from, having another year under their belts, number one, and then number two, maybe having some different personalities step into those leadership positions.
Yeah, and I mean, we don't know the personalities just yet. You know what I mean? Like, that's what I think is going to be so fun about this year's version of Alabama is that it's such a new team. It's such a young team. It's going to be a hungry team. It's going to be a team with a lot of guys that have a lot to prove. And I think there's something valuable to that. Like, that was Oregon this past year. That's who I'm comparing. Like, if this year's team can somehow embody what Oregon was last year with youth, and I think youth can be on. I know people the moniker of the day has been, get older, get older, get older. I think sometimes when you get older, you get tighter because you're running out of time. When you're young, you almost play with this juvenile freedom of, if it doesn't happen for us this year, like, we'll come back next year and we'll do it next year. You know what I mean? Like, the younger you are, the more free you sometimes play. And does that occasionally lead to mistakes? Sure, of course. But, like, there's also something good about having a really young team with a lot to prove. So I think there's a lot to like about this year's group. Now, we'll see how the pieces fit together. There's a lot of new pieces in places that we don't know, a lot about. But I'm super optimistic.
Right.
I'm really, really optimistic about this group, and I'm really looking forward to seeing them today. I'm looking forward to seeing them in spring, and I think they're looking forward to kind of showing what they got, because there's a lot of guys that have been waiting their turn, and now it's their chance. So it's going to be a lot of fun to watch.
Yeah, you'll have an opportunity to get to know some of those guys a little bit better today as you speak to the Alabama football team. You need to run to go do that. Have a good weekend, and we'll catch back up with you on Monday.
You're the best, buddy. Enjoy the Super Bowl.
Greg McElroy joining us on the Higginbotham Hotline, live from the Alabama facility. Not really, but going to speak to the team today, going to meet with Kalen DeBoer. Pretty cool for him. I know he's excited about that opportunity to be able to do that. We'll talk more about just the Super Bowl. We've got Alabama-Auburn in basketball. Your plans for the Super Bowl, how have they changed since you've aged? Is that day different? Is your viewing habit different? I think most of you that have listened to this show for a while know where I go with this. I actually do welcome a few more people to my home to watch this football game than I did, say, 10 years ago. I'll tell you who those people are and why next on Jogs. What are your plans for Super Bowl Sunday? Super Bowl 60 coming up on Sunday. Seahawks, Patriots. Seahawks 4.5-point favorite in this game. Do you have a side that you just like on this one, John? Right out of the gate? Like, do you have a first off, let me ask you this since we've been talking about rooting. Do you have any rooting interest in this game whatsoever?
Yes. Not for what people would normally think. Like, I don't want to see Drake May win, or I don't care if Sam Darnold lose. Like that doesn't matter to me. I have maybe a bit of a financial one. I'm leading the office pool currently, so I kind of what needs to happen. Yeah.
What do you need?
I need Haney not to surpass me. Therefore, I'm not quite sure how I want to analyze the game because I know he's listening and I don't want him to pick up on something. But what I need is, honestly, for him to forget to put in his picks, and then I just secure the championship and be done.
Okay. We won't go into it any further. But outside of that, because people will find Auburn players, Alabama players, individual players they like. I don't really have.
For this one,
I got nothing
yeah,
for this.
I think maybe once it's done, it'd be like, okay, it'd be cool for Sam Arnold to complete the redemption arc, or the Patriots are back, and seeing basically a young, potentially Brady and Belichick, not to say they'll go the same heights, but version 2 of the young coach and the young player getting another one for the Patriots. Once we get the outcome, okay, like, all right, that'd be cool to see, but I don't care going in one way or the other which happens. I would just like for a good game.
I'd love for Derek Hall to get a Super Bowl ring. I love Will Campbell. He's another one of those guys in college football that I got to know a little bit and was really easy to root for.
Yeah.
And you become a fan of his. I'm a fan of him, not just because he plays tackle, but because he's just an awesome dude. Like he's handled things in his life extremely well, been through some things, and just he's a great guy. He deserves it. He deserves everything he's getting, and I'd love to see him win it. But there's not a lot really past that for me. I've always sort of, well, I'll say this. Growing up, the Seahawks were essentially irrelevant.
Correct, yes.
I love the fact that Chris Gray, who I think is the greatest football player in Homewood High School history, made it to the Super Bowl with the Seahawks.
That is cool. And
I used to root for them for him. But once they did the whole uniform thing, I kind of had nothing for Seattle, really. And then like the Richard Sherman stuff, like I didn't, that kind of pushed me away a little bit. Russell Wilson stuff kind of pushed me away a little bit. Now, I did have one of the more enjoyable running backs to watch play football for a long time. And, Marshawn was easy to root for. But I've always kind of been like a nah on the Seahawks. It used to be like, okay, you had Steve Largent.
Right.
And then a bunch of like has-beens. Like
Correct,
you brought in Warren Moon for a little while. You tried Jerry Rice. Mm-hmm. Like outside of Chris Gray and Sean Alexander, there weren't really a lot of guys. They were like your guys.
Yeah.
Bosworth didn't really do much. So they were easy to sort of just forget about, I guess.
It was worse than hating a team because at least you're thinking about them or they elicit some kind of response. The Seahawks, you never even thought of them.
Just
like,
to kind of, they're still out there.
Yeah.
Cool. They had that one guy, right? Now with New England, them preventing Pittsburgh from doing a lot of great things for a long period of time, they were easy to hate.
Put you on. They were on your list.
And then there were a lot of other things that went on during those periods of time that made them easy to dislike, easy to hate. I don't really have that for them anymore. As far as rooting interest, this is probably as low of a Super Bowl as I can imagine. So kind of like you, just let's have a good game. Let's hope everybody has fun. I just want to see a competitive game. And I want to see good football, compelling football. Guys make plays. That's kind of, for me, what I'll be rooting for. But as you know, I've stated this publicly many times, and I'm interested to hear what people's viewing habits are for this game. How does it change? When did it change? Does it go back to anything else? Do you enjoy Super Bowl parties, being around other people? Because I've stated one of my dad's greatest joys early in his life, in his professional career, was hosting a Super Bowl party at his house. And it was a huge deal. He went all out for it. I'll never do that.
Not even.
Now there are 3 humans that I will now allow into my circle of viewing this game that I didn't 10 years ago, and it's because they're mine.
They share your last name? Okay.
Yeah. They share the same DNA. I've assisted in creating them. So my kids will be there watching with me. Now, the good news is my 5-year-old will sit there and want to watch the game.
Okay.
And he will ask questions about the game, and he'll have interest in he'll pick a side because every
Who are we rooting
sporting
for, Dad?
event
Yeah.
that's on.
Who are we rooting for, Dad?
And there
Yeah.
will be a totally random reason that he picks either Seattle or New England. And we don't know what that is now, but it'll come up right before or during the game. I'm for Seahawks for whatever.
Does he stay with that pick through
Sometimes.
the entirety? Okay.
Oh,
so,
for the entirety of the game?
yeah.
Depends on how much hell his brother's giving him during the game. Because if they're on different sides
Okay.
and Big Brother is really rubbing it in, which is probably happens if it's they're up, he has a tendency or has switched allegiances before, but he
Okay.
usually stays on his team,
Okay. All right.
especially if it's a close game. The 8-year-old will be all over the place. Probably would be more interested in the commercials, honestly.
Mhm.
But he'll enjoy the football for what it is, but he'll like a guy, he'll like a certain player. He'll pick a side, but he won't really care unless he's able to rub it in his brother's face. Like it's all over the place. And so, like I said earlier, this is perfect now for us because my wife's not a diehard football fan,
Right.
but she gets into halftime. She gets into the commercials. Daughter, same thing. Halftime show, commercials. The extravagance of all of it makes it great for our family because we don't have to be a Seattle Seahawks born and raised fan to enjoy this game,
No.
or New England, or
That's what makes it
whatever.
great.
Yes, we can enjoy this whole day. But I haven't morphed into wanting to watch this game with 40 people or 20 people. No.
I feel like I went through shifts. Back in college in my early 20s, I was all about all-day coverage, like going to someone's house and almost in essence tailgating with the pregame
With the
stuff
TV,
on.
yeah.
Like that was it up until, about maybe going to a bar or something ahead of time, and then once the game kicked in, all right, me and the boys were sitting down, we're watching the game, doing all that. Then the 30s shifted, and it was just a Super Bowl party at the house. Like getting there 4:30 or so, whether it be in my house or at some other places, having the Super Bowl party, enjoying it with the boys and probably at that point significant others and maybe a kid or two. And I don't think COVID changed this, but being at home and then realizing, oh, I can watch all this, and that. And then when the world opened back up, it's like, I don't want that anymore. And
Yeah.
I think what also shifted is it's been this way for 15 years, but more so now. And I think our job makes it a little bit different. But most of the other games that we watch, we just watch the games. Don't care about the commercials or anything pre, mid, and post. This one, it's the full entire broadcast. So you have to watch all of it. And it's tough to do that at a party because I remember the last one I went to was at a hotel. And I was like, okay, cool, kind of watch. But we didn't have, I think it was a Timberlake halftime. Like it was on, but the sound was off.
Right.
I'm like, well, I kind of wanted to at least hear some of it, but
Yeah.
also there are people talking and stuff, so I couldn't hear it anyway. I was like, I don't like this anymore.
Isn't it wild that all those things you just mentioned, a lot of them, it's just this game?
Yes.
It's not any World Series games.
Nope.
It's not any NBA Finals games. It's
Nothing.
not the college football playoff championship game. It's not the AFC championship game, NFC championship game. It's not Christmas Day games, Thanksgiving Day games. Like,
Although the NFL's trying to make it
they're
that way with
trying.
the halftime and all that stuff,
Yeah.
but
Well,
this is the one time.
Think about what the college football playoff does with the halftime. They
Yeah.
try.
Yeah.
They try pregame, halftime, and no one cares
No.
about it at all. And how much less different are the audience? I know the audiences are different, but like Championship Sunday, still a massive audience.
Correct, yes.
We don't see these commercials being released 5 days before that
Nope.
they're going to air during that game because it's such a massive deal. It's wild how this has become such a one-off now because there are other massive television events in sports, but we don't treat them, like you said, that's a great point. We don't treat them anything near the way we treat this game. Nowhere close to it. And why is that? I don't know. Why don't we have the build up for the halftime of the commercials for World Series games, NBA Finals games, the Daytona 500, whatever else draws in these massive audiences? It's nowhere near what this is. The spectacle has become so much further past anything else even close to it that there really is nothing close to it.
The closest thing I think lately has been the opening ceremony for the Olympics. But I think
And that's today, right?
Yeah. I think winter's a little bit different because we as Americans kind of don't care about it. I think more so for summer. But what hasn't helped that is where it's been. Like next time it'll
'Cause
be
you
in
can
LA.
watch the replay, or you
Right.
can watch, at 2 a.m.
Because now we can have access to it at all times, whereas even the last couple, we couldn't watch them live, but we had ways to get it. But back when we were growing up, even in the turn of the century, you had to wait when you couldn't get it until it was time to watch it that night. But even so, at that point, there was that it had something for everyone to watch, so people would watch it.
Right.
And I think that's why everyone's all in on this. But for whatever reason, nothing else seems to capture that, even though other entities or other things are trying to.
Is that just the opening ceremonies, you
Yeah.
think?
I think maybe, yes. And then there may be something that, oh, hey, USA has a chance of winning gold or something like that. By that point, we may care about it, but it's like, does England care?
Yeah, if
or
it's USA basketball or Michael Johnson or
maybe going
Dan and
international,
Dan, whatever it is.
Usain Bolt going for another.
Yeah.
Like, okay, at that point, but then you've got a storyline, and okay, you understand that, but
Michael Phelps.
You didn't know going into the Olympics that it would be that, but you knew going in the Super Bowl it's going to be 100 some, however many million people watching it.
Yeah. And which is crazy because this Super Bowl, like from the dynamic standpoint, both these teams missed the playoffs last year. First time since 2003 that's happened. They were both 60-1 to get to the Super Bowl or to win a Super Bowl title going into the season, which is just crazy to kind of think about where it was. So I think the biggest games I have watched in public from an NFL perspective, there was a championship Sunday once that I was in Vegas, and we ended up finding a place to sit and watch the game, and it was beyond miserable for me.
Ugh.
One, because Pittsburgh was in the AFC Championship game, and one of the guys I was with was also a huge Steelers fan, and we wanted to watch the game. First, like you said, couldn't hear almost any of it, and they had the actual sound on, but still, there's just too much going on, and you couldn't hear it. Couldn't dial in the way we wanted to. Now, especially, you want to rewind and watch another play at home, you can do that. You can pause it if you need to either put the kids to bed, go get something to eat, go to the restroom, whatever it is. Then you get it started right back up again. It's just like watching a game in public's a lot if you want to watch the game. Some people just want to socialize around the game, which is great, and that's fine, and that's for you. I want to watch the game, and so it makes it tough for me to do in public. But I'm interested in other people, like your Super Bowl parties, viewing habits, commercials. Are you as into the commercials as you used to be? Does it hurt it for you that the commercials come out now on social media a week before they're going to air? Like this Xfinity Jurassic Park commercial is awesome.
Yeah.
It's great. I don't know how good it's going to be during the game because I've already seen it.
I've seen it. I don't need it. Yeah.
Don't really need that again. But thanks for showing me. I appreciate that.
Honestly, I think it's cool that they did because now I don't have to stay glued from 5 to 10 p.m. I can – that was the one thing about it is that if something's happened and you got to pause it, you got to go do something, now you're behind. And now you can't get on social media because then people would say, oh, did you see this? Oh, this happened, and then you're behind. But now with them releasing the commercials, okay, I've seen that one. All right, I've got 30 seconds to get up and run and do something.
Is that our truest test that social media is not reality? The fact that they're going to – what are they paying this year for a commercial?
I want to say 10 mil, but I
$10,
don't know
$15 million.
Still, right.
Yet you put that out on YouTube where 2, 3, 4, 10, 50 million people are going to go watch it. But your advertising team also knows that there's another 100 million people that are going to see it for the first time during the game. So it's still worth it.
Oh, no, I don't disagree. And I think it helps because, again, I don't have to stay glued. So, okay, there is time to get up and do something where otherwise.
Because the reason I saw it is people put it out as this is a Super Bowl commercial that's going to air. Yeah. So, okay, cool, I'll watch that. If this was an Xfinity commercial in March, this will be Xfinity's ad campaign for the NCAA tournament. There's no way I stop and take a look at that. No. I don't even care. I don't even think about it. So, yeah.
Plus, if it's March, you'll get it a whole bunch of times because they wear the crap out of them NCAA
over and over and over.
Yes. Yeah.
So, all right, your viewing habits for the Super Bowl, where are they? How have they changed? What will they be this weekend? Do you find a rooting interest in a game like this no matter what? All that and more next right here on Jocks. All right, welcome back in. McElroy and Cubelic in the morning. We're talking Super Bowl viewing habits. Patriots, Seahawks coming up Sunday. What are your Super Bowl viewing habits? We'll get to more of those in just a moment. You can text into the show 205-834-9450. Tweet in at Mac and Cube. Also 800-239-9569. You want to be a part of the show, you can do that on the Higginbotham hotline. Specifically, this game, every year, does it change with kids being introduced, kids moving out of the house, growing up? Either way, we want to know how it changed for you, what's going to be different for you this year. Andrew Caraway tweets in, we host a little Super Bowl party with a small group of people, parentheses, my family, huh? We're Patriots house, though. Question for you, Cole. Do your kids have Drake May jerseys yet? My son wears his every day. Also, what is a Cubelic house cooking for Super Bowl Sunday? We do not have Drake May jerseys in our house. We do have a lot of random jerseys. The only football jerseys my two boys have combined are Auburn and Pittsburgh. Now, baseball, totally different.
Oh, right.
They are
That's
all
right.
over the
Yeah,
place.
yeah.
NBA, totally different, all over the place. And it is wild the amount of jerseys that kids have access to now as opposed to when we were growing up. Like, I don't remember seeing a kid wear a jersey to school until maybe my last 2 years of high school. It was maybe in Auburn or Alabama that they had gotten at the game, or the book, like they got at Andrews or J&M or something going to the game.
Outside of them two teams, it was very rare.
No, I mean, now it's Ole Miss, Georgia, Kentucky. Like every day you see a college jersey, and then the NBA and NFL and MLB jerseys are all over the place. I mean, my 5-year-old has like 4 Major League Baseball jerseys, all different teams. Like he likes the Orioles. He likes Adley Rutschman for just a random. I told you he's random.
Yeah.
But he has stuck with the Orioles.
He has taste, though. Okay, all right.
He has an Aaron Judge jersey. He has a Vlad Guerrero Jr. jersey. Like he has a Shohei jersey. That was tough for Christmas. We ended up finding it.
Yeah.
He's at school now, so we're good. And then 8-year-old, just Jokic one week, John Morant the next week. Shohei this. I mean, it's all over the place. What we will be preparing. Wife's going to do sausage balls. She does that every Super Bowl Sunday, no matter what. And she will probably make her own pizza. And I will say this: it's Trader Joe's. She gets it there, all the ingredients. And I'm just going to tell you, it's legit.
Okay,
it's awesome. If I had my choice of any pizza in town, it would be that one.
That's what you're rolling.
Her making it. Yes. And 5-year-old, by the way, is on board with pepperoni now.
Really?
He's graduated from cheese pizza.
That is okay. That's big.
It's a huge step for a kid, I feel like. So we'll continue to get your feedback on how you're going to watch this game, who you'll watch this game with. Has that changed over time? And we'll talk Alabama-Auburn on the basketball court this weekend with Chris Stewart of the Crimson Tide Sports Network. That's coming up next right here on Jocks.